I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
We are the National Wrestling Clipping Alliance. I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
And we are the National Wrestling Clipping Alliance, and you are watching the NWCA Podcast, the only wrestling history podcast that doesn't just talk wrestling history, we show history. Wes, I keep pointing with my fingers to the screen. We're back, 3 in a row. Big show. Big show. We're going to continue on with the stuff that we haven't done. We're on a streak of places we haven't been.
It's so cool to be challenging ourselves a little bit here. Yeah. We really challenged ourselves with the UK episode. And that was, I think, Jesse, it was a tiny bit flat. And if we ever do something like that again, we should do a little, I will do a little more preparing. It was sort of my fault. I was a bit flat on that one, but how can you go wrong with Greensboro, North Carolina? You can't.
No. This is a huge show today. And you are right. We did challenge ourselves with the UK. It was kind of tough looking into that kind of stuff. Well, when my focus is always North America and Ontario, really.
Yeah.
So then you're, like I told you, the only on the show I heard of Big Daddy through the comic book graphic novel, The History of Professional Wrestling, which I still recommend you to get.
Yeah, and I've seen some of these guys on video cassette from back in the day, but that's barely touching that card that was there. So, we went there, we did the best we could, and if we ever go back to the UK, we will slam it for sure.
Well, we'll have to go back because, people are going to want us to go to Germany and people are going to want us to go to Japan. And that's the whole point of this show, is to try to go and show where wrestling has been. And, prior to coming on the air, I showed you the tour that's coming up. And at the end of this show, you'll see where we're going to go and how we're going to fit people in. And we got special guests lined up and everything.
I can't even count up how many cards we've got lined up here. This is just so super cool, super duper cool. We got some stellar cards coming up, which one of them is going to be just fantastic. A highlight, a massive, probably match of the year for sure, 1972. Yeah. So, yeah, Greensboro, North Carolina, 1976 tonight, and let's hit it.
Well, we're not going to hit it yet. A couple of things we have to clear up.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Jeez. I just want to thank everybody that subscribed to our channel lately. God damn, Wes is so excited to talk about this show tonight. It's a packed card tonight.
Let's iron out the program here.
Iron out. Oh my God, Wes. With that, this guy brings out that. You're crazy. Well, no, I just want to thank everybody who's. Yeah, I just want to thank all the new group members. Our group members have gone up again. This is fantastic news to us. It's amazing to us that we're approaching 900 in our National Wrestling Clipping Alliance group. It's almost past our Ontario Wrestling Clippings of the Past group.
It's past. It's over.
Oh, it's already over it. So yeah. it's growing like a weed, man.
The NWCA Facebook group will eventually outmember the Wildman group, which is 7 years old, and the NWCA group has been a year. I don't know, Jesse. How long do you think it is?
We started, I think, around January or February, just to have a place to promote the show.
Yeah.
And then do this so we can post clippings of everywhere. And now it's blown up into what it is now.
It's so interesting and so cool, and we get so much feedback from the people. It's great. Oh my gosh, people from all over too. It's really
cool. That guy Roger threw a huge shout out. He said it was great, and he's one of those guys that doesn't. He's old school. Like if it's shit, he'll tell you.
Yeah.
And he's fully like, dude, like I learned something from your show every time I watch an episode. So hey, we're doing something right, at least.
We're trying. And again, we have to say, Jesse, that we're not experts. We could read out of books, we could read out of magazines, but we're not. We're expressing our opinion and what we like and what we don't like, because I'm opinionated on what I don't like.
Oh, fuck.
we're just telling it like it is. We're two fans. We're not Einsteins. We're not valedictorians of the university class. We're just two wrestling fans. That's it.
Yeah, we're freaking Doc Brown and Marty McFly. Like, and I'm Marty.
Oh, I want to be Marty.
No.
I want to get the chick.
He like almost hooks up with his mom. That's weird. He does, technically.
Never mind. Another movie.
Family show.
Steffler's mom.
Speaking of opinions, we love everybody commenting and getting involved in our groups. A lot more people now are posting than just me and Wes, and it's great. And to see the interaction and everything, it's been fantastic. So once again, thank you all for subscribing to our YouTube channel and joining our groups. We're having a blast doing this. And
our good friend from New York State, Brett Williams, has been posting on our pages, and
that's right.
Jamie Greer has been posting on our pages from Windsor, Ontario, and we're looking forward so much to his book coming out, The History of Wrestling in Windsor.
Windsor, yeah.
Brett has some great pages on Facebook also. You can look him up if you wish. But it's just so great to see the interaction from everybody. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, we've had a couple of more requests come in, and one that I've already picked, and we're going to talk all about that later when we throw up the new concept of the NWCA tour.
Yes.
I know you're such a fucking hipster.
I'm a roadie.
You're a roadie. Yeah. More like a crew slut.
Roadie for the band, man. The band's coming back, man. We're putting the band back together, man.
You know, I'm probably the only one that knows what that means.
If you're not, I'm coming and eating in this restaurant every night. I love when he throws the shrimp. And
for those of you who don't know what he's talking about,
how about the little girl? How much? How much?
It's the Blues Brothers he's talking about.
Awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of awesome, we got an awesome show. We said North Carolina, Greensboro, boom, NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions, big show today. But before we do that, set the scene. 1976, Wes, this is the time that the Chic era is over in Toronto by 76.
It's just about over. It's like basically dead. Basically dead. They carried on till about September of, no, it was August, I think, of 77.
Okay.
And that was the last one. Big show at the Exhibition Stadium. But it was an airplane strike. A bunch of guys never showed up. It was terrible. That next October, which is also the next first card I went to at Maple Leaf Gardens, they ushered in Mid-Atlantic, AWA, and the Stars of Maple Leaf Wrestling. So it was changing era for sure. But yeah, Greensboro, North Carolina, they didn't have to change nothing because they had everybody there.
When did these stars, when did a lot of these guys that we're going to talk about tonight, when did they start coming to Toronto, like the Flairs and
the first show, October of 77.
Really, eh?
So there was one show before the one I went to, I think, so maybe late September 77, and they hit Maple Leaf Gardens, and it wasn't the same again. They had already been playing Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling on TV out of Buffalo, which we could get in Toronto. And then finally they got onto, I think they were on Global in Toronto. Finally. And then it exploded. The world was not the same. It just wasn't the same. Ask anybody who endured the Chic years, and yes, it was good for what it was, but that change from, say, the early 70s wrestling to 76, 77, Mid-Atlantic just wiped everything off the mat because they were so good. It was so exciting, so different, so action-packed. It was just a different ball game altogether, as they say.
Yeah, well, that's what happens with television.
When we hit this card, when you hit the names, everyone's going to go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's actually, it's almost hard to say because when we get into this, it looks like a St. Louis card.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Right, because St. Louis was always jam-packed cards all the time. Because obviously the home of the NWA, right? So
that's right.
So 1976, that's what we're talking about. October 16, 1976. So everybody at home who wants to get nitpicky, let's go. That's the timeline we are in. Um,
How old were
and
you?
how old was I? I was still my dad's nuts. Oh, I don't even know why that came out. That's a family show. Family show. NWA champion in 1976, Wes. At this time, October 16, 1976.
One of the best, Terry Funk for sure. I
Yep.
think, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it was Terry Funk.
yeah.
AWA, Nick Bockwinkel.
Nothing wrong with Nick. Uh,
Nope.
just a different style altogether, but the guy exuded class. He was so classy. His interviews were so top notch. He didn't need a mouthpiece. Like he didn't need Heenan, but Heenan just added to the picture in the AWA for sure.
Yeah. And then the WWF champion was Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno.
Bruno in his second run as champion.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool that a Canadian won the belt off him, though.
Who? Who? Say it. Say it.
Ivan
Say it.
Koloff.
Yeah. And then Stan Stasiak after that.
Yeah.
Two Canucks.
Yeah. Stan Stasiak, a WWF champion and only in the Legacy Hall of Fame. I know. I know. Anyways.
Actually, you know, Jesse, if we ever if we ever do something like this, since the WWF was so close to Canada because it basically came up to Buffalo for Ontario fans, and then it came up into the northeastern states for the Quebec fans.
Yeah.
A lot of Canadians held titles in the WWF, especially in the tag team division. Lots of Canadians. And if we ever go into that, we could pick out probably 30% of the tag team champions were Canadians.
I mean, what's your favorite Canadian tag team if you had to put two guys together that held belts?
In this area would be probably Billy Red Lions and Dewey Robertson as the Crusaders. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. Yeah. Dino Bravo and anybody.
Dino Bravo and anybody?
Well, any Canadian. The Rougeau brothers were great.
What about the Vachon brothers?
Yeah, they were pretty good too. Well, they were tiny bit. Their height of popularity would have been a tiny bit before my time. Okay. I mean, I did see them wrestle on TV, but just I never saw them live. Rougeau brothers were good. I like the Rougeau brothers. Always.
Because you like them because the Mountie always gets his way, bud.
No, both sets of Rougeau brothers, Johnny and Jacques Sr., and then Raymond and Jacques Jr. So, yeah.
The Mountie always gets his way.
Or his man, or his title, or his brass knuckles in Davey Boy's face.
Before we run down this card, we want to remind everybody that the NWCA podcast is brought to you by, or sponsored by, Grand River Tea. Grand River Tea is a premium loose leaf tea company bringing you healthy teas across the board. They specialize in the Yopon. Did I say that? Yo,
good one.
Right? That's right. I said a nice big word, like the. You can save 15% on all your Grand River Tea purchases when using the code NWCA at their checkout. Go online, check out their premium loose leaf tea selection. I'm sure the holidays are coming, so all the holiday specials are going to be coming out. Load up the cart, NWCA at checkout, save 15%. Wes, with that out of the way, let's get into the card. Unfortunately, we don't have the results today. We couldn't find them.
Not all the results.
No. I couldn't find them. I don't have a Terry Justice book of 76, so
we could guesstimate on some of them, which I will do, but
it's a damn big card.
It's a super duper card. Some great talent here, and some Canadians. Excuse me, some Canadians on the card. Some guys who work for Dave on the card. So yeah, let's hit it.
Okay. First match: Danny Miller versus Hans Schroeder.
Yeah. I'm sure Danny Miller won that match.
Danny Miller is the controversy guy with Adrian Adonis. Did they get in a fight backstage? No, that's not him. That's another Danny.
His brother Bill got into a fight with Buddy Rogers backstage
Really?
with Carl Gotch. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Time out. Sideline. Tell the story.
Uh, Buddy Rogers wouldn't work the program. Carl Gotch and Big Bill Miller got him in the dressing room and supposedly broke his hand.
What?
Yeah, that was
Damn, I didn't know this.
in Ohio in, I don't know, late 50s, 60s. I can't remember when.
When wrestling was in legit, bro.
And Big Bill Miller, who was Danny's big brother, and he was big. Danny was like 5'10". Big Bill Miller was like 6'3". Danny Miller was a great wrestler, and he wrestled all over. He was really big in Florida, big in Georgia,
Yeah.
Ohio. Worked for the Sheik. Worked everywhere. Worked in Toronto a lot too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I recognize the name,
Yep.
but I can't put a face to the name, which is hard for me. I'm
Yep.
still learning, everybody. I don't have a degree. You can't get a degree in this.
You. Not that you're going to have to dig to look for a picture for Danny Miller, but yeah, your age group, you're going to flip through a magazine and you're going to pass by him 10 times before you realize who it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hold on. Before we get into the Hans Schroeder, I just wanted to, I forgot to throw this up. This is the card that we're talking about,
Oh,
by the way. Just to keep everybody interested.
yep. Super duper. I,
We got 3 title matches on this card.
I love the way Flair dressed back then with those round, goofy glasses.
Okay, sorry. I forgot to throw that up. Hans Schroeder, do you have anything on him?
Yeah, his name was Hans and his last name was Schroeder. And he played the
All right.
piano and he was good friends with Charlie Brown.
All right, so you don't have shit. Keith Frank versus 2-Ton Harris. So
Yeah.
Keith Frank being your boy, bud.
Yep. Mr. Adonis, super cool. Uh, and he was trained in Ontario by Fred Atkins.
Yep.
And obviously, we don't have to talk about. I don't have to say anything. Everyone knows who Adrian Adonis was. Wrestled in the
Oh yeah.
Pacific Northwest. Wrestled in Texas. Wrestled in California. Wrestled in Florida. Wrestled in the Mid Atlantic. Just went everywhere. And phenomenal
WrestleMania against
talent.
Piper.
And that era when he hit his massive fame in the WWF was just spectacular. And he could still
Piper
work.
always says that he loved it. He loved
Big fat
dressing like
slob.
that.
I
Yeah.
hate saying that, but it was gross. It was just gross seeing him. He's just a big fat slob.
But apparently he loved it.
But he could work like crazy even when he was a big fat slob.
Yeah. What I always say it. I wish I could have saw Adonis and Ventura tag.
They were
So
so good. They were so good. Jesse didn't do too much, but he could still. It was like Beefcake and Valentine. You get it?
yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
does all the work. Someone looks pretty. Although Jesse could work, he wasn't a schmuck, right?
Nah.
Yeah, Two-Ton Harris was George Harris was a manager in the area. He was on the downside of his career by this time.
Yeah.
I do have something on him that we'll put in the credits. I think he started like in 1948 or something, so he was a little long in the tooth by this time.
Okay.
I imagine that there was some sort of a thing going on where he was managing someone, and Keith Frankie got into altercation somewhere, and that's why they had this match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vic Rosatani versus Bill White.
Yep. So Bill White was a journeyman, wrestled a lot in the Mid Atlantic, wrestled up in the WWF when he started out a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, Vic Rosatani, Canadian guy out of Hamilton, worked
Yeah.
tons and tons for the Wild Man.
I was gonna say that's the name I have on I think one of my posters.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, his sons are members of our groups, and we'll give a shout out to them for this.
Boom.
He worked everywhere. He was a champion in a lot of smaller promotions. Memphis, he was a champion.
Mm-hmm.
He worked everywhere.
Hold on. A lot of smaller promotions, and this guy fucking says Memphis. Memphis wasn't small.
Well, compared to the Mid Atlantic or California or Tunney's area.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but great wrestler, and passed way too young. And his sons, they post on our pages a lot, and they like when we do anything with Vic's name in it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they'll definitely like this.
Yeah.
We'll have to get a picture of this and send it to them. Greg Valentine versus Red Bastian.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to say anything about Greg because we
Dude,
talked
we
about.
love the Valentine family. Let's just say that out loud. Like, we love the Valentine family. Like, we're
If
Johnny V and Greg V fans.
if Greg had a daughter and she was really really crappy in the ring, we'd still like her.
Yeah.
Because
You can't
she'd
say
be a
anything bad.
bruiser
I
still, right?
love,
Still be a bruiser.
dude, I love looking at Greg versus Piper and stuff, and Greg versus Wahoo McDaniel and stuff on YouTube, which is the luxury that I get to have. I can go back and
Yeah.
watch this. But imagine watching that when you were my age. And these guys are literally beating the hell out of each other for like 45 minutes.
He was so good. I loved watching Valentine. Like I said many times, right from like 1971. He was like 17 or 18 or something. Just he had it. He had it. I mean, he probably went out with his dad in the summer when he was off of school, and they probably just sat back in the dressing room and just went, "Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it." Drinking milkshakes and eating lots
Yeah.
of power protein shit just to put up some weight, right? And oh, he was so good and tough as nails and so believable too, right? So believable.
Yo, speaking of protein, I never told you this. My daughter got a protein bar for Halloween. Who the gives a 5-year-old a protein bar? What's the matter with people?
I heard that people giving out protein bars from Kirkland.
People, man. Rad Bastien.
Yep. Uh, really long career. Really, really long career. He was probably in the twilight of his career also. I don't know. I don't know why he was in Mid Atlantic. I have no idea. Wrestled at the tail end,
Money.
promoted in California. It had something to do with, I think, with the Cauliflower Alley Club too at the start or near the
Okay.
start. Tag teamed in the 60s with Lou Klein out of Detroit as the Bastien brothers. They were world champion, tag team champions. Really long career, really cool looking guy. Ended up growing like a really cool handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
I
Well,
might have seen him on a match or two on YouTube, but other than that, he was a star. He was a star. So this would have been a strange match because it was either
yeah.
to put Greg over, I imagine, because he was established star, right?
Out of all the matches so far, I'd rather see Valentine versus Keith Frank versus
Oh,
Adonis.
wouldn't that have been cool, eh?
That would have been cool to see in 76.
Yeah.
What would have been cool too is the next one. Randy and Lanny Poffo. Randy and Lanny Poffo
Yeah.
versus Tiger Conway and Johnny Eagle. So you know what I'm gonna say, right? Let's go. I need to see a Macho Man impression. Everybody likes the West impressions,
I
man.
I hate doing impressions. I
I
hate it.
know, but the fans, the people
I
that watch it, love it.
I hated his gimmick. I hated his gimmick.
Yes, I'm gonna rip my
With the
hat.
gravelly throat and everything. He didn't need to do that. He was so good. He was so good in the ring. Why would
You
you
got
know
it from
scream?
Tampero Furpo. You got that kind of style from Furpo.
I know, but still, it's just. Ugh. And Lanny was completely on the other side of the fence.
Leaping Lanny Poffo
But he,
from
he wasn't on the other side of the fence, but he was on the other side of the fence.
of talent wise, yes. I think Lanny's in one of our groups. I can't remember if he is or not.
I don't know.
I can't remember. We have so many people; it's hard to track. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see Randy and Lanny because obviously we all know that they had both ended up in WWF.
Yep.
Um,
And then
Randy obviously became Randy Macho Man Savage, the WWE legend, Hall of Famer. You know the Mega Powers, yeah.
they
You know
they
the Mega Powers, Les. That's probably your favorite tag team, Hogan and Savage. Oh, coming in for the handshake.
so his elbow drop from the top rope was spectacular. So good.
Yeah.
So good. Talent wise, I would never take not even anything from him. I just hated the gravelly voice shit. It just to me it was stupid. But they had just probably finished being the opposition in the Florida and Memphis and Tennessee
Yep.
with their dad's promotion,
Yep.
and they were working their way north, like really slowly,
Yeah.
really slowly.
It got, yeah, because I think Savage was signed first, and then Savage got his brother in.
Yeah.
So there you go. Tiger Conway and Johnny Eagle.
Tiger Conway, second generation wrestler, famous. His father was obviously Tiger Conway Sr.,
Yep.
famous Texas wrestler. Uh, good, good guy. Everyone says he was a great wrestler. Don't. I might have seen him once on videotape, but nothing else. Johnny Eagles, British guy, trained in the UK, had a cool eagle tattoo on his chest. Lasted quite a while. Played in a lot of the worked in a lot of the smaller promotions.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal.
Oh, okay then.
No offense, but no big deal.
Yeah, so we probably pretty much know who won that one then. Okay, next one. For the Mid-Atlantic TV Championship, Angelo Mosca versus Tim Woods.
Angela Mosca Sr. or Angela Mosca Jr.?
It only says Mosca on
I'm
here, so
just
I'm gonna say
yeah,
76.
just
Obviously,
yeah,
it's senior, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's 76, right? Because his
Just like
son started working for Dave in the early 80s.
10 years after this, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, was it mid 80s or early 80s he started doing it?
Mid.
Oh, okay, okay.
Dying days of Dave. So yeah, Mosca was huge. Mosca was the baddest ass around back in these days. He'd been out in California kicking ass. He'd been in Florida kicking ass. He was in Mid Atlantic, and that was what do I have here? One ad says Mr. Wrestling, and one ad says Tim Woods, who they were the same person. He was the original Mr. Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
The other famous Mr. Wrestling guy who was Mr. Wrestling too.
Yep.
Tim Woods had the mask on, had the mask off, mask on, mask off, mask on, mask off.
Well, there you
go. Tim Woods won the TV title from Mosca in that match.
Oh, damn.
Yep. Mid-Atlantic TV title change in that match. So there you have one title change in that card. And as we move on here, it's pretty interesting because usually this doesn't happen. But yeah, I like Mosca. Mosca was great as a bad guy, and he was great as a good guy. Lots of, again, one of those guys who showed lots of emotion in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Yeah.
The next one was the U.S. Heavyweight Championship. BlackJack Mulligan versus Paul Jones. I mean, BlackJack Mulligan's too good, right? Like
he's big guy, big guy. I think
he was huge in Toronto too.
He looked big, as in stature.
Mm-hmm.
He might have been wearing higher boots or something, but yeah, big ass guy. Looked pretty tough, and he was good both ways too. I liked him both as a heel and a face.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good bleeder, and that U.S. title change in that match too. The other guy, Paul what? Paul what? Who?
Paul Jones.
Sucked right out of the ass. He sucked.
Isn't Paul Jones a singer?
That's Tom.
It's not unusual, me no.
Tom Jones, baby. Good one.
Not unusual.
I don't like Paul Jones. Never have, never will. He was a crappy manager.
Dude, you don't like anybody.
he had lots of fans. He was really popular. He would have probably been a baby face at this time, but just boring as boring.
This is coming from the guy who doesn't like Hogan, Harley Race, Bruno Sammartino, Shawn Michaels, Macho Man.
Here's a Brody.
Yeah. Like, come on. We don't want to lose subscribers here, bud. You're gonna piss people off.
There's a bunch of those people that I just don't like part of their gimmick. That's all.
Okay.
Macho Man was great. Did you see him in Detroit getting the shit kicked out of him when he was like 14? Oh man, his arms were like mine.
No, because I only know the Macho Man Elizabeth. I seen you got lust in your eyes for Elizabeth.
That was awful. She was terrible too. She was god awful.
Johnny, I'm leaving.
Very pretty. She was ridiculously pretty, but she was terrible. Oh, what do I do now? Look at the camera. What do I do now? Randy, what should I do now? No, don't look at the camera. Don't look at the camera. What? I'm getting flustered.
You're going to get one of these, bud, in a minute. You're going to get one of these. Because I'm getting sick. You don't chirp Elizabeth. All right?
Sorry.
God. What's wrong with you? She was the best.
I'm opinionated.
You're old as fuck is the problem.
Okay. Opinionated, old, same thing.
You're so out of touch. Okay. Next match was the NWA Heavyweight Championship. I mean, Ric Flair versus Wahoo McDaniel. Now,
Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was crazy because this is one of the feuds that AC told me to look up on YouTube. These guys beat the hell out of each other every night. I mean, chop, 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 chop. Ugh. I'm like, when they were as stiff could be, man. That's what they were.
Those two guys put on a show. That as a main event would be just spectacular to see. Two good bleeders, two good athletes,
Yeah.
two good stars, two really good personalities. And that was a title change match also. Flair over Wahoo for the belt in that match. So 3 title changes, 3 title matches, which was really odd for most big cards. They never had 3 title changes.
Oh, maybe it's for TV. Look, could have been. My ad looks like it for TV.
Nah, that was the regular show. Greensboro was a big coliseum, massive coliseum.
It's on a Saturday too.
Yeah.
The big night, Saturday.
10,000 people in that place, jam packed to watch Ric Flair versus Wahoo McDaniel in the main event, and I bet you they went home satisfied.
I mean, how can you not?
Yeah.
How can you not?
I know.
You can watch any of that stuff on YouTube, man. Just look up Ric Flair versus Wahoo McDaniel. You're going to be satisfied.
You don't really want to watch Paul Jones.
No. And you don't really want to listen to Tom Jones either.
Tom Jones is really popular at one time.
Yeah. All right, let's start wrapping this up. Let's get to one of our favorite things that we like to do.
Yep.
Was Canadians on the card. Moscow wasn't really born here.
But yeah, by this time he might have been a Canadian by this time. Excuse me.
Vic Rosatani.
Yep, of course. Yep. And Keith Frank was as close to being a Canadian as you could get because he was born in Buffalo.
Yeah, shout out to his daughter Angie, who's a group member.
And Lanny Poffo was born in Calgary.
Yes, Lanny Poffo is Canadian. I always forget that.
And BlackJack Mulligan is from Texas. Paul Jones is from Doofusville. That's in South Carolina.
Imagine Jimmy Buffett and Paul Jones as a tag team. There you go, buddy. And Tom Jones is their manager.
Tom Jones is the manager. Jimmy Buffett was awesome.
Get the fuck. He was not awesome. He was shit. Fucking garbage.
Yeah, well.
Whatever.
I don't own any Jimmy Buffett albums, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, Lynn does.
She doesn't either.
No.
We just smoked a lot of weed listening to Jimmy Buffett. Son of a Sailor Man, or whatever that LP was called.
Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Get some Kim Mitchell in there too. Patio lanterns.
So yeah, Valentine was
Babyface Nelson.
Yeah, I don't know where Greg was born. I don't really know. I know he's probably said he's from Seattle, and he might have been like actually from Seattle. I don't know where he was really born. He wasn't born in Canada, but
No.
hard to say.
Who are the guys who work for Dave?
Dave. Well, since you asked, Greg, Vic.
Greg Valentine worked for him. Not as Greg Valentine though.
No, Babyface Nelson.
That's right.
No, as Babyface Nelson and as Johnny Fargo.
Okay. Yes.
Of course, Adrian Adonis did for a couple of matches.
Yeah.
Randy and Lanny both worked for Dave.
Yes, they did.
And Mosca.
Mosca kind of started with Dave, didn't he?
And then ended with Dave, yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, there's quite a few. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. Mulligan worked for Dave too.
Yeah. Dang.
Which, yeah.
Well, McDaniel didn't. I guess. Well, Flair would never, because the pay wouldn't be that good.
He was too good. He was too. They were centered in their own area at the time, right, when Dave was popular.
Yeah. True.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys for Dave. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good, actually. Sometimes we don't even have any.
No.
Yeah. What I was gonna say. So that pretty much wraps it up for this week for Greensboro. We have a huge lineup gonna
Wouldn't that be cool to have on a T-shirt? That printout of that logo.
Do clippings on a thing?
Yeah.
Big tour coming up. We are. I can't believe this, but our next week's episode is going to be our 25th episode.
Yep.
So Wes and I wanted to do something absolutely huge. So we're going to knock a couple birds with a couple stones here. We did have a fan request from my buddy Alan, one of the guys that me and Johnny go to the stores, the indie shows with. And he's like, dude, you guys got to do Memphis. You know, I talked to you and we didn't do Memphis. So next week for our 25th episode, we're doing Memphis, Tennessee with Harley Race versus Rocky Johnson as the main event. But not only is that, I have the card here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 title matches.
We're gonna have so much fun with this one. So
much.
We might have to preempt everything else just to get through the card.
I know, right? It's absolutely massive. And then we're going to do another fan request episode. But I was talking to you about this before we went on the air. We're going to do a little tour. So this is where our buddy Johnny is going to throw up a bunch of dates that I'm sending him. And I'm not going to show, but we have a pile of stuff here. So let's get into where we're going to be going. We're going to be going to Hawaii. We're going to Montreal. We're going to Nova Scotia. We're going to Toronto in the 50s. We're doing London in the 50s. We're doing Stratford, Ontario in the 50s. Then we're going to Dallas in the 60s, Detroit in the 60s. Oh my God, Toronto in the 60s. A whole bunch of stuff going on here.
Calgary.
Yeah, and then we have Calgary and Winnipeg we're going to be stopping. Yep. So a bunch of stuff going on. And then we also have Vance, Nevada coming on the show. Wes, you want to touch on that real quick?
Oh, we're going to be having Mr. What's he call himself? Beefy Goodness? It's just crazy. Mr. Beefy Goodness is going to be on our show. We're going to be talking about his new book, Uncontrollable Chaos.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. He sent us a promo we're going to be shooting up, so that's going to be cool. And we're going to talk about his career and his 2 books, because he's put 2 books out. On Canadian wrestling. And believe me, Jesse, I know you helped a little bit with him, and I've helped a little bit with his statistics. Supposedly the book is about this thick, and it weighs about 400 pounds, and it's chiseled in rock like Fred Flintstone. So it took him about 400 years to do also. So it should be fun talking to him about his book and his career.
Yeah. Especially we're going to just straight shoot it too. Just going to talk Canadian wrestling history and his books and his book tour that he's on. So check that out if you can. I want to thank everybody
we posted some of his itinerary on our pages. So
yes,
if anyone wants to check it out, he's going right across Canada. So that'll
yeah,
be
pretty much everywhere and anywhere, which is going to be great. Want to thank everybody for watching this episode. We cannot wait. We can't believe that next week is going to be our 25th episode. Subscribe to the channel, share with your friends if you haven't already. We want to thank Johnny G for having our back and always doing our episodes.
Yeah.
We want to thank Grand River Tea for sponsoring the show. Wes, hit him with the Facebook groups, brother.
Ontario Wrestling Clippings of the Past, Wildman Tribute page, and the National Wrestling Clippings Alliance. Fantastic, super cool, most awesome, excellent Facebook group. Jesse, again, numbers are going crazy. I'm so excited to see the numbers going up.
Mm-hmm.
Like close to 3,000 members in our groups, and we're getting close to 4,500 views on our YouTube channel. So that's YouTube. Just punch in YouTube, punch in capital letters NWCA Podcast, and there we are. We're all there in our glory, and you can watch anything you want. We are so appreciative of subscribers. We're one away from 100 as we tape this. So
yeah, we didn't even think we thought you were like, oh, let's go for 150. I'm like, let's be realistic and be lucky if we even hit 100. We're in November now, and we're one away.
Yeah, so we were hoping for 100 by Christmas. So yeah, let's just keep on rolling. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. Thank you so much to everybody for putting down messages and contributing for us. It's so much fun. It's so exciting. We try to answer everybody and thank everybody. And Jesse, as usual, you do a fine job, and it's a pleasure to visit with you.
Wrap it up. Yep. Can't say it better myself. Like I said, man, next week and plus the tour that we have going on, I know I probably missed some dates, but Johnny threw them all up. If you missed anything that we showed, we have a lot to show in our credits today. Wes has all pictures that he's going to be sending in. But yeah.
All of Ric Flair.
Of course. Well, until then, I'm Jess.
I'm Wes.
And we'll see you next week, episode 25, Memphis, Tennessee, April 24th, 1977. Take it easy.
Bye.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
We are the National Wrestling Clipping Alliance. It's the NWCA Podcast.
I love doing this, and I love you in a cool wrestling history kind of way.
Hey, easy, man.